Yo, this is Dova Blackhat Gaming. I do RPG games like Elder Scrolls and Fallout and many more. Subscribe to see more and enjoy the video.
Hey now.
Well,
Nice outfit.
what is it
At
about
least
her?
you'll keep up.
The hag couldn't speak to me herself.
Morosa has become increasingly distressed following the rumors and supposed activity within this town, and has talked with the royalty of Evermore to discuss the claim of this fiefdom and your position in it. If you do
Keep
not
your beast
cease with
under
the disruption
control.
of trade, your privileges will be relinquished.
Enough. You've barked well past your merit. Tell that dog-faced shriveled old bitch that if she meddles any further with this town...
Please, Mortefane, consider what you're saying.
Did I grant you the luxury to interrupt? Address me with my name again, and your neck will be kissing the axe.
Yes, I am sorry, my lord.
Then you adviser, relay the message to that crone that if she dares poke her nose within Arnament again, her bridge will fall into the current below.
Understood. I will part with your words so she can hear them.
We meet again. How fare you? Exactly what I expected. An attempt to squeeze blood from stone. Mortefane, in all his wisdom, has deemed it fit to sever ties with our neighbours. Now we wait for Morosa's response. And be assured it will not be pretty. All these years, and our lord has become even more bitter. He'll never forget what happened all those years ago. Was it her death? Or is it the state of this town? Both? Quiet! Have the sense not to call for such sabotage while we're watched. Though your proposition brings another idea. Rumors have stirred about an important individual, a descendant of Mados, and from what we know, he resides not too far from the kingdom's capital. The hamlet nestled to the west of us, called Tabandra. Image, my friend. The armor we've maintained from Mados's fatal excursion still shows its majestic craft after all these years. Yes, any can wield the armor, but none can trigger the runes marked in its metal, and we're sure the very trigger is blood. You see where this is leading. None can measure to Mados, but it shouldn't stop those with the potential from trying. The person you seek goes by Rados, reportedly a large fellow. Comes with being a blacksmith, no doubt. Evermore is a very welcome change of tone from the dreary scenery here. Been a long while since I've made the journey there myself. Hope you don't get too comfortable upon those lush knolls, though. We're pressed with an urgent concern. A gathering of witchmen to the north are engaged in some communion. Nothing before has been quite like it. And if whatever they conjure up comes marching down the valley, then we'll need all our allies. In any other circumstance, I would have directed you to a duty more befitting your skills. Such is the times where we have to rely on the vague potential of heroic progeny. Rados would mean more than his utility to this town. Having the very descendant don the iconic armor of that bygone hero would instill a new sense of hope and morale within all of us. I needn't tell you how the guards have been found lacking in principles recently. It's hard not to. I want to spur a drive within them again, have them motivated for our future. No better way than the return of an idol that they can all rally behind. If he refuses now, we'll just send someone again. You're beginning to understand our desperation, I take it. We have ways of coercing people, and no, I'm a priest and wouldn't tread the path of violence just to intimidate innocents into doing my bidding. I will show them our plight, and hope that some facet of their conscience would concede. As apparent as the danger may appear, the omens who've made that cursed land their home haven't strayed a feet from their dark domicile. Seems those souls are still trapped in that terrible siege 30 years ago. Even the scholars from Daggerfall were awestruck at the phenomenon, assuring us that these dead are confined upon the packed dirt from whence they fell. If it was so easy, then we wouldn't be having this conversation. Whatever solution that could alleviate this scourge vanished with the shamans who performed the ritual. Talking like a true native, those guards had done exactly that when the siege was lifted. Suffice to say, nothing was achieved except dozens of flayed shamans draping our walls. Just reminiscing on that sight can make one's stomach churn. Blessings for your future journeys.
I used to be an adventurer, but then I took an arrow to my heart. You're a great shot, love.
I'm warning you. Back off. I'm warning. Make it quick.
Ow! Ah! Imagine working in these tunnels every day.
Wow. I still can't imagine that we set foot in a snow elf enclave. The Forgotten Vale was amazing.
Hey! Enough of that.
Oh, did you need something?
Remember, a smart mouth can't save you when your head is on the floor.
Who are you ogling? Good day. Nice to see you people haven't been overrun by plague. The moment I hear you cough, though... Oh, by the eight, not again! Will my children be expected to become fabled heroes too? A dozen times at least. And my father before me. Each time someone's horse is stolen or some exile's mug a merchant. Tell me about it. They claim to respect him, yet they put him on display in death. Deny the old man burial for years. You seem alright. And I do hate to make you a bearer of bad news. Let me fetch you some wine for your trouble. Who hasn't? Why? Dark magic. That actually sounds worthy of Mados. You know what? You're right. Last thing I want is to go down in history as Rados, twice as tall and twice as yellow as any. I'm in, friend. Lead the way. Oh, none too unusual. There was even a joke that that's what you call a temple, a sewer and a wall brought together. However, there was a real sense of community. We were proud like the Reachmen should be. We're older than the three empires combined. Most of the world doesn't know we exist, and the Britons want to believe we don't. Back then, Mortivane seemed like the finest lord the place had ever seen. Strict but fair, blunt but honest, a terrific swordsman on top of that. Well, the siege of Raven Spring had changed it all. Those 2 months broke some in ways healers could do nothing about. The hero's death, the doom of Grey Belmore, the bodies mounted on the pikes. My father couldn't handle Mados' demise. Took to the bottle, and in the following years there wasn't much left of him. And Mortivane had lost his wife. That alone had made a man once called Maid of Iron, fearful for his life, secretive and cruel. And soon he had the bodies on the pikes make a return. This new Mortivane could have been made of iron, all right. So many he had put to death with it. Anyone could be accused of treason and put to death, neither painless nor swift. So the people were afraid of gathering or even talking too loud. We felt like we were living on borrowed time. No one dared speak up against the Lord, but by that time he was so severely paranoid he needed an excuse rather than a reason. And all of it under the watchful dead eye of old Mados, hoisted like a deer carcass. It was sickening. So I left. Simple as that. Some would say I should have tried to be the big damn hero. Jack has had a plan already, no doubt, but it's the soul of the town that was gone, and bringing that back is no task for a blade. And that's the end of my story so far. As always, you foreigners. That's simple. There was no Reach before that. The Reach is, and always has been, its people. And the Reachmen haven't had a calm night in centuries. Orcs, Witchmen, Nords, Bretons. And it's not like the Bretons themselves get along. You wish. There's a bleeding mess of a kingdom next to ours called Wayrest, and some 14 years ago we went to war with it. King Uta, also called the Owl. Nay, his cheeks. Well, Uta had some beautiful daughters, you see, each one from a different queen, and King Sigmund was quite fond of one of them, something Uta wasn't too fond of himself. In the span of 2 weeks, more than 1,000 men were dead on both sides. Such was the war over a princess's canny. Not when she's 9 years of age. Damn near cost his majesty his head. During one of his visits, Uta had Sigmund taken prisoner, and his retainers banished from the kingdom. Aye, some weeks later. Small wonder he wanted to see Wayrest go up in flames after such humiliation. I was levied 3 days after, and a week later, the army was well on the move towards Wayrest. Must have looked weird back in Evermore. Couldn't do it before, so many of his own men were slaughtered, it seems. Funny thing is, I've always hoped to visit the city of Wayrest as a child. Now I'm partly to blame that I never will. Nasty is the word that comes to mind. We were outnumbering them 6 to 1, but the skirmishes were so fierce, our Venturiers had set the countryside ablaze with their spells. Those were windy months, so by the time my unit had reached the city of Wayrest, the smoke was everywhere. And let me tell you, war is hard enough even when you can breathe. Nothing good. The trade had stopped, the crime ran rampant, and in the following years not a corner remained in the entire realm that wasn't raided and sacked. Today one of the base's largest cities is not even worth conquering anymore, and half our military has to guard the border against those who blame Evermore. That's no wonder. It was broken up by the hand-picked squad of scouts. They crossed the border wearing burlap robes and posing for pilgrims. One of them, a devout priest of Mara running an orphanage, paid some guards off to see the molester king and spit in his face. Made quite a scene, you can imagine. He also passed Sigmund a scroll of recall with a mark already placed in the woods nearby. Not a single drop of bloodshed. Well, it wasn't me who told you this, but a certain scout commander from Arnima kind of came up with the whole plan. Wasn't me who told you, friend. Well, I wasn't planning on leaving my friends, you know. I was leaving the town Ravenspring had become. All right.
Come for aid? You've succeeded where many of those who came before had failed. I was right in sending you. Must have made a strong argument for a man to leave the safety of the West for the chaos here. Just like Mados, then. It may be that we rekindle the fighting spirit here, make us strong again. And who better to lead the way than you two heroes? Humility is a valuable trait. Cherish it. Yet, for what's to come, a humble hand cannot suffice. We need you to be strong. The Witchmen have struck terror into us Reachmen. But you are not a Reachman. Unburdened by our faults and fears. You're exceptional. I'll pray for your victory. Take a guess.
Old Raven Spring.
Treason. So yes, they upset the Lord. Though that doesn't take much these days.
Truly went down the gutter.
As with everyone Mordephane accuses in his ravenous, paranoid streaks, that are becoming exponentially more common. The guard was seen speaking to one of the beggars, with the other two seen mingling close by. That was reason enough to raise suspicion, and thus they were all hanged almost an hour after they were accused. If only it were that easy. You must realize that it's not only him we have to worry about, but the guard. They're almost as intolerant as our strict but fair lord. It doesn't help that they feel their actions justified from the dangers beyond the walls. It's become such a vicious cycle that I can't fathom this ending well. Keep quiet about the grievances you may have. It will do us no good if any more decent people find themselves victim to his tyranny. Farewell.
Who are you, Oakley? I served in the Evermore Pikemen militia and helped with the occupation of Wayrest. So I know how to face down a foe at the least. Why so sudden? But I agree. The sooner we can deal with this burden, the better. All right?
Just you and me against the world
Watch it.
now. Not that I'm
Good day.
complaining.
Good day.
Let's see what we've got. Ebony armor. This stuff is a fortune. But I suppose Mados deserved no less. As soon as I put it on, we'll be off.
Out of the darkness. Cheers and fear. I am the world. The flesh.
I'll piss on your corpse!
I'll end this quickly. I fight on. You're no match for me.
Submit. The rot consumed you.
Their souls.
don't you? Time to taste metal.
Spread your touch.
We're not done here. The fight goes on.
Rest
Why don't
easy.
you chill out for a bit?
Let's get this over with before we freeze to death.
A bit loose, huh? That's better.
Out of the darkness. The flesh
Piss on your corpse.
Time.
from the flesh. Their soul.
For a challenge. This is but a taste of my
That's enough out of you.
Silence.
Let's keep moving. As far north as I've ever been, and I have no intentions of coming here again. Goddamn savages. Can't even say good witchmen's a dead witchman. Bastards know necromancy.
Weapons.
The maggot comes forward.
Take.
I am her vessel. Unsteady. From the flesh.
I'm not someone to be trifled with.
Weapons up.
Time to take
This is the end for you.
You can't hold a candle to me.
Well, ask for it.
Take my steel. I must continue my training.
Hold on. Did you hear something?
Make them.
your father.
My kin to the void. Them rot.
This isn't your day.
Embrace the ugly.
While we
Going to die. You're finished.
Sneaky little prick. metal.
Submit.
Don't mess with
enough out
me.
of you.
Out of the dark, the beautiful one appears.
Time to taste metal.
Real splash.
You let your guard down.
Another child freed from their ending silence. There.
Back down.
You're wasting my time. No hesitation. Who's that?
Make them rot.
Get down.
Too easy.
I miss being warm.
Where'd
Good
you...
joy!
Power slash! Die! Futile effort. Your efforts are futile against my resolve.
Take
Not very impressive.
It'll all
Who's
be
there?
over soon.
Your strength fades. Accept your fate. Allow me to demonstrate.
I honestly think you stand a chance.
As far north as I've ever been, and I have no intentions of coming here again. All right.
What was that?
Close quarters it is then.
It's not over.
You have my back, and I'll have yours. Ashes to ashes.
spoiler.
Real
Smack into the void.
daughter.
Another
child.
Honestly,
From their mortal shackle. Ow! Another one to us. Silence.
You made it through the savage's hole? Or am I seeing ghosts? And you share our black humour, mortal down to the very bone. Alright, we're going to have to clear up here. See to it that these dogs don't return with yet another dark ritual. Contacted our friends in Evermore. They're going to send these Stasi down to clean house. If you want a primer on who these criminals turned militia are, then we'll have to speak later. For now, make sure we haven't got some foul straggler lying in wait for their arrival.
Light armor does provide a lot of tactical advantages.
This is rather exciting.
I'll have your head. Bastard.
Fast. Come in, prick.
Chop you up slowly.
Take this.
Ice metal. I'll piss on your corpse.
Your head.
Knocked out aside long ago.
Smart, yeah.
I'll give you that one.
You're in for it now.
Got something to say? Incontrovertibly so. His presence in these walls gave people a figure to rally around, brimming with charisma, a mutual sense of belonging to those who adored him. He was the Reachman's hero. Well, for the civilized of the Reach. Many have tried to measure up to his legacy, and many have failed. It seems those who mirror his physique and martial prowess are found wanting in mind, such as those large lads clad in ebony that you've surely seen on your way to me. Knights of Evermore, a parody that went from tragedy to farce almost immediately after their making. Knights have a whole different connotation in Evermore, it seems. The slightly taller one is Mech, slow in the brain but still capable of all the savagery that any mad Reachman can mete out. Must have been dropped on his head as a babe. He's reined in by his more cunning and terrifically more sinister brother, Sek. And that Sek is a whole new beast. A whole new load for knighthood. Or got a lifelong friend if it meant another pouch of gold or another accolade from the king. In fact, he did just that to earn his knighthood. The man was at Munster. Those who saw him in the slaughter shuddered upon recalling his debauched behaviour. Never knew a man could go through so many women within a night, slaying twice that number in men with his hammer, and all at the ripe age of 16. Biggest man you'd have met for his age, mind you. Just another show of nature's cruel inequality. Made enough gold for the king, no matter the means, you're knighted. Brought the king another girl to Gorkat, you're a knight. Burnt a whole village to the ground because someone took the king's name in vain, you're a knight. Hope you do. And I want you to understand our predicament when it comes to current morale. You can't have pride when it's based on farce and criminality. Corruption seeps through every crevice of our kingdom. Got carried away. I am sworn to this town's defence and will lay down my life for the people. Don't take my words as a slight against any of my peers. I thought the priest were being dramatic. Portents of doom were all that strips from his lips at the smallest hint of trouble, but now I see there's some truth to his words. Told me to expect some type of demon up here. Never knew it'd take the form of this winged bastard. And now that confirms an even more sinister rumour. Didn't want you to botch the job. Mercenaries tend to underperform when they know that a bounty spells certain death. You did. Forgive that slight. I've always taken umbrage to those who take blood money. None of our quibbles are important right now. Let's get back on track. That rumour had to do with our lord, Mortiphane. His possible dealings with that foul goddess who summoned this creature, Namira. Priest didn't disclose any further than that relation existing or not. Just told me to look out for anything particularly strange, and well, we saw exactly that. Really putting your life on the line for us, eh? You have my gratitude. If you do exchange words with him, then make sure not to shout. Many of those within the walls are still tragically loyal to that madman. And not only there, but right here. So we'll have to halt this fatal talk if we want to keep our heads. We'll be returning soon once that lowland Stasi detachment arrives. Stay safe. It's better to avoid asking them directly. Actually, I would advise you not to engage with these types at all, or you may land yourself in very hot water. They're very off. Most are drawn from the more unsavoury ranks of our conscript, with a popular and probably true rumour that half of them are pulled from the exiles. You may know the kingdom is having problems with corruption and bad seeds already. Well, that pales to what these people are capable of. If I were to opine, I'd say they were made from the witchmen rather than any half-sane reachmen we have near the walls. You won't, but they certainly could. Just best to leave them to their business. It's almost always a very dirty affair that will make any witness despair. Trust me, I know. Certain things a civilized man should never do, yet they frequently transgress on that standard. When you think you've seen the worst, they'll surprise you the next morning with some new sickening spectacle. Because they get the job done. Though sometimes it's better to draw these things out when you consider what a fast job like theirs entails. The kingdom has come to prominence in High Rock in short time. Don't think that was done with clean hands. There's rarely clean hands when it comes to getting rich fast. An eager helper or a plotting saboteur? If the latter, then I must warn you, there's no second chances within this town. First sign of you turning cloak will have you hoisted in the dungeons. What do you suggest? Confront our foes with daisies and smiles? They'll cleave your smug face in two. Yeah, there's some truth to your words, and I'd be remiss to this town's welfare if I stubbornly defend my stance. So if you're sincere and you want to help out, then we have a job at hand. Oh no, friend. Not attempt, but do. This isn't a job that you can just half-arse and make your peace with the land. You'll have to stick it through, else Mara's going to be receiving another soul. If you haven't noticed, we civilized folk in our civilized gatherings are but an enclave to all the scum that lie in wait, just a stone's throw from our gates. Our closest neighbours happen to be those feral folk dejected from the kingdom's settlements, making the wilds their home. Exiles. Same thing, just different legal repercussions if they ever return to where they were booted. The punishment here is death. Mortiphane decreed it so. Even the family of exiles can expect the same harsh treatment if they're ever found to be consorting with their criminal kin. Well, we needed a scout to oversee any contraband smuggling or corruption within our ranks, who may be dealing with the delinquents. The exiles don't pose the same threat as all the other villains in the Reach, but they sure break cohesion here in the kingdom. Always had a problem with our guard, doped up and turning a blind eye to their duties. Sometimes it's hard to distinguish between your own and those rats who supply them. Just what I like to hear. Some conviction for your work. Here, give us your map. I'll dot the area that our scouts use as a vantage point. Can gander at the whole camp on this humble knoll. Just make sure you're discreet with this venture. These exiles may be dumb, but they ain't blind. That they're thieves. All right, pardon my temper. I know better from my travels that they aren't all plunderers and pirates. Only because not every red owns a ship. And pardon the jab, can't help it. Sometimes you can only laugh when you're dealing with this much dung being thrown at you from every corner of the land. Let's just call them raiders, huh? Well, these raiders swarmed our southern mines, right in the heart of that storm which brought the rivers crashing to our walls. cannon had levelled the bog, and we soon saw the rats feed among the rubble. It's what the Reds use because their impotent minds being incapable at handling magic. A large metal tube propels a metal ball, where if you blink, you'll miss it ripping right through your skull. These Red Guards have a lot of similar contraptions. Fortunately, the most advanced aren't held by their criminals, but by those with a coin to do so. Another precaution against a provincial war, if I may opine. It is better, but extremely taxing, and can have a callous mage in a very dire situation if he casts in disregard. Machine, however, needs no mental operator that must maintain a steady focus. Only thing they need is a cleaning, and someone with spare hands to wield it. Can't say the same for all the mages who've lost their minds from years of gazing into their tomes. So we're being careful when approaching these river rats. You have to gauge what their arsenal is before making our move. But rest assured, we will flush them out, just a matter of time. Since you're working for us in this brief stint, I just want to brief you on our alarms. If you hear the horns blowing, then turn tail and get back to us in haste. We're on edge for any attacks on our walls, and for good reason. I had a witchman raid not long ago, and I want more bodies at the gate to deal with them. Seems as though every time I ponder about a raid, it happens. Misfortune runs through the land like out water. Stay alert.
Hope everyone enjoyed the video. Like, comment, and subscribe. And hit the bell icon. See you all on the next video. Enjoy life. And stay.